Rank, big signing this week. We got a returner. Devin Duvernay.
Devin's back.
Devin is back. Devin is here.
Yeah.
Devin is dancing. Double D. This is long time Raven, then a Jaguar, and now a Bear.
Yeah.
We keep paying for these guys because we don't know how to draft one. I won't make that mention. And then your guy, Tyler Scott, by the way, getting pushed down the list here too, which bugs me as well because I want to make him my guy. But your thoughts on Devin Duvernay?
I think as a football player, this is a pretty good move. Obviously want to put some attention to the return game. Obviously with Carter going to Cleveland, there was a necessity there. And yeah, this has been a situation that is, I don't know, it's been brewing, but like it is, we need consistency there. And it just feels like, again, we haven't been able to find our guy. I think because Bayless signed in New Orleans. And I'm like, you know what? Like, it always bums me out. I'm like, God, I still had a lot of high. I still hope Bayless does well.
Me too.
But yeah, we haven't really been able to get this settled down. But like you said, to me, the biggest thing for me is like, what is going on with Tyler Scott? Like, it just seems weird that he's not like the Ben Johnson's got to be familiar with him. Like, what are we doing? Like, how does he not have a spot on this team? Like, what is going on? What is the receiver room like? I don't think that Duvernay comes in and is I don't think he's a threat to break the receiving rotation. I hope not. I don't know. But I think for the return game, I think this is important. I think for Ryan Poles, he has shown that he really wants to emphasize how much special teams matters to the Chicago Bears. You draft a punter in the 4th round. Bayless, who was supposed to come in as a special teams ace, was drafted in the 3rd round. So they've obviously put in a lot of resources to special teams. It hasn't necessarily always hit, but I think it does show that there is a commitment there. Kind of like how I'm trying to hit my 3-wood. I'm not good at it, but I'm committed to it and committed to trying to do it. Orange Cassidy, by the way, shout out to Orange Cassidy. He said Samurai Mike was his number one.
There you go, Orange. And he was doing some great linebacker work all over the place here, Orange Cassidy. 27 years old. Didn't have a great year last year. There was a lot of talent in that room, though, which maybe took away some potential opportunities. Look, Bears need help here. It's there's opportunity for somebody to emerge here in training camp. Will he crack the wide receiver rotation? Maybe. That feels pretty wide open right now.
Well, he did play some slot with the Ravens a couple years ago, so. Maybe, and Ben Johnson is known for, getting the most out of whoever he can on offense. So you bring in a couple wide receivers here, obviously Zacchaeus is somebody that I think is going to be a reliable option, whether he's your 3rd or 4th option, I think is yet to be determined. But no, I agree with you, Adam. Like, I don't think Devin Duvernay is, no pun intended, slotted in anywhere. But if they do keep Tyler Scott on through training camp, and I don't really see any reason why they wouldn't, because I think their options are limited on how they can, add to that room any more than they have at this point. And the draft is kind of tricky on who's going to fall to them in some of the later rounds. I highly doubt they use one of their first 3 rounds of picks on a wide receiver. That's just my opinion. Yeah. But so I'll be looking forward to that. I know some people want to write off Tyler Scott because the previous coaching staffs didn't see any interest in trying to use him. But those coaching staffs are gone for a certain reason. And so now Tyler Scott's entering his 3rd year. We saw some of the things he was doing in the preseason, in that 3rd preseason game against the Chiefs. They threw to him like 22 times. Seemed to look all right in that game, but I understand the context there. But Tyler's an easy guy to root for, and he's in his 3rd year. Ben Johnson knows how to get the most out of players. A guy like that has the kind of speed that this wide receiver room needs, and a guy that can create separation, not just going deep, but coming across the middle of the field and some different things. Speed doesn't hurt, as Mark said. Ben Johnson, puts a lot of stock into speed. And Devin Duvernay obviously embodies that, but I think that they'll, these are the options they have for this season. And that, so.
Hey, break this down like you can rank it up here. Is Duvernay an upgrade on DeAndre Carter?
I really liked Carter. I thought Carter was pretty good. As Orange was pointing out, we have just two punt returns for touchdowns for Duvernay, but still is somebody who can come out here and do a wide variety of things. And honestly, with the change and the upgrade at the offensive coordinator position, when I think about the Lions, and you would watch and not that Tim Patrick was a bad player or Khalif Raymond, but like the Lions always did a very good job of like finding opportunities for these players to go out there and do their thing. And I think this is the big thing with a lot of teams and the structure of teams is that when you have DJ Moore and Roma Dunze, like how many more home run hitters do you really need? I guess that's a bad example, but you still need people to go out there and do their job, which is what, when you look at the success of the Patriots over the years, even the Chiefs right now, you look at the wide variety of different players and the way that they use them. The Chiefs and the two previous dynasties showed that like, hey, not everybody needs to come in here and score 20 fantasy points per game, but you can do something in every game that makes you valuable. And I think that's what the Bears are looking for here. So I Carter was a player that I really liked. So I don't know if it's an upgrade or not, but I think like you have to also take in or bake in the coaching upgrade, which also helps just about everything.
Last year, for the record, Duvernay on the kick return, 31.9 yards. Carter, 31.9. Duvernay, 25.1. I'm not a math major, but I believe that is 6.8 yards greater to Carter, which I believe that is better if you've taken it back nearly 7 yards further per average return.
Well, it's not better because Duvernay's on the Bears now and Carter isn't.
That's the type of that's what we need. He's done punts and kick returns, but Steven's asking behind the scenes here if you think Zacchaeus will perhaps be doing the punt returns here, or do you think they turn the old Duvernay loose? I would think if you're paying him this money, I would think it's his gig.
Yeah, you know what? I think it goes down to what this coaching staff feels is the best possible situation for him. I actually like Olamide Zacchaeus as a wide receiver. I think he's pretty nice. And again, he was one of those dudes who scores like a handful of touchdowns per year. I know this from great experience because I had to learn how to say his name because he would show up on That Helps No One every once in a while. But I do believe that given an opportunity here, and again, like doing these segments and how many different Lions we would have to come up with. I used to have to practice a Ray Romano impersonation because of Khalif Raymond. So let's hear it. I got to warm up. I'm not warmed up to it. You can't just do it cold. I used to always crack up Cynthia because I'd always try to hit the ma. Like you have to like work up to it. It's not like you can't do that one on command. Like you got to get it just right.
All right, next time we'll call Caliendo then.
He can do it on the fly.
No, we're not calling Caliendo. We're pod committed. Rank's our guy. We don't need no Caliendo, even though it's kind of fun to have Caliendo on every now and then.
It's just real quick. I apologize, but Steven asked the chat. In our private chat, like, do we think that the Bears are done in the wide receiver room? And I saw Guy Finley bring up earlier, like. They do need maybe some size to that room, and I think another name that nobody talks about, is Colin Johnson. Where's he at? What's he up to? He certainly had a lot of size. Was making plays last summer. Like I said, I know we're kind of scraping at the barrel when you're talking about some names that only Bears fans would know. But I just am interested to see. I think anyone has an opportunity to excel now that the great Ben Johnson is here, and he's just going to get the most out of this entire roster, and we are going to walk off into the sunset with happy post-game shows from here on out.
Rank, if you had to bet one of the many Bears hats behind you, if the Bears will either sign a wide receiver free agent, another one, and or draft one, are you saying yes or where are you going? Yes or no?
We're drafting one. Now, I'm pretty confident we're going to end up drafting one. I think it's too important. I think the offense is too important to this staff, to this organization. They're going to bring in somebody else. I mean, like we're sitting here, like we have, and especially me, kinship with Tyler Scott. So we're very much like, hey, we're cool, but like Ben Johnson comes in with his own ideas, and he might have somebody in the draft. And I'm still not convinced that we're not going to take Tyler Warren. I'm still not convinced that we're going to draft a wide receiver in the 4th round or whatever it is. So I don't think that we're done. I don't think that you look at this roster and you're like, oh, we're good. We don't need anything. I think there's a huge opportunity to get players like that. So I don't think the Bears are done at all. I think like for big time moves, like, hey, like we just traded for Keenan Allen. I think that kind of stuff is done. But I do believe like wide receiver is definitely on the table in the draft.
We all silly like the mayor.